It's rivalry week, week 9, playoffs around the corner. Number 1 and number 2 get big scares. Game of the week goes to overtime. Eye on Central Florida, South Florida, and Tampa Bay, all coming up next. Hello again and welcome to the footballhotbed.com Florida High School Football Report, driven by Honda. I'm Brandon O'Doy, and once again, we can't wait to get into Florida football, the very best football across the great state of Florida. Week 9 is rivalry week. We're talking about intense matchups from top to bottom, all the way from Jacksonville down to Homestead in South Florida, and that's where we find Game of the Week this week. Palmetto taking on South Dade. These are two teams that are very familiar with one another, and they have great resumes coming into this season, and South Dade is undefeated up to this point. And then right now here, Miami Carroll City taking on Booker T. These are teams that have familiar staffs, coaches, and players in common. It's a real grudge match, and we can't wait to get to it all. But first, let's begin everything with Eye on South Florida, brought to you by your South Florida Honda dealers. Let's get it started in South Florida. Miami Central taking on Miami Northwestern, the rivalry matchup. Central goes up top. That's Maurice Underwood to Jalen Young for the touchdown. Northwestern would respond. Nathan Noel would get in for the 1-yard touchdown run. But this was Underwood's night. 13 for 26 passing, 277 yards, 3 TDs. And to top that off, running back Lexington, we call him Flex. Joseph gets in for a 32-yard score, 38-10. Central all over Northwestern. Let's go to Fort Lauderdale now, where Cardinal Gibbons would take on Hollandale. These two district foes get it down every year. That's one of 2 passing touchdowns on the night. They'd add a defensive score here. It was all Chiefs over the Chargers, 21-0, Gibbons over Hollandale. Stay in Fort Lauderdale, crosstown now. St. Thomas Aquinas hosting Boyd Anderson. We call them BA. Blocked punt there, and that was part of the 48 first half points that St. Thomas put up. Daniel Carter gets in for a 20-yard rushing touchdown of his own. Kirk Castillo to Xavier Restrepo for the touchdown, and Restrepo wasn't done. He'd get a second receiving touchdown, this time from Kyle Engel. St. Thomas too much for Boyd Anderson, 54-6. Carroll City, Booker T. Washington, Ja'Cory Brooks with the touchdown there. They'd add a field goal. Booker T would be up 10-0 in this game, but the Chiefs weren't done. Check out Naquan Wright getting into the end zone. The senior doing it all this year for the Chiefs. Daniel Richardson going deep, connecting with his receiver, Lorenzo Floyd, who takes it in for the touchdown. Richardson 19 of 25 for 337 yards and 3 TDs on the night. And to top this bad boy off, he would hit Mr. Tyu Jones-Bell. And I now pronounce you very fast. Touchdown Chiefs, and Richardson had a wonderful night, and Carroll City would end up coming from behind to beat Booker T. Washington 39-17. All right, let's check the scores in South Florida. Chaminade Madonna 47-17 winners over Doral. The Lions outscored the Firebirds 33-3 in the first half. American Heritage 37-20 winners over Jackson, improving to 6-2 on the season. And Calvary Christian gets a big win over North Broward Prep. Calvary scored 21 third quarter points on the way to a 35-21 victory. And that's just a cursory look at some of the greatest games from this weekend. South Florida high school football is better than ever as we march toward the state championship. Now, let's take a time to just slow things down, and let's go deeper and take a deeper look into the matchup taking place next week. Week 10, it's Miami Carroll City and Miami Central, two of the best teams in the nation. We thought, let's send our senior writer, Marcus Benjamin, to Miami Central to see what makes them so special.
Make no doubts about it, state championships go through District 16 and 6A, and no team has been more dominant than Miami Central in the past decade. The Rockets won 4 state championships from 2012 to 2015 and look to add another to their trophy case in 2018.
We feel like we are the best program in the nation, hands down. Even though we're a public school, we may not have the resources a lot of programs have out there, but we don't make no excuses about what we have and don't have. We just work with what we have, and we believe in our system, and we believe in what we do, and we do a tremendous job here. That's why we're successful year in and year out.
The bloodline runs deep with this Rocket program, as they have 5 players currently on NFL rosters, which is tied for second most in the state. One of the many reasons why kids want to play here.
With me growing up around that time, it was Dalvin Cook, Devontae Freeman. This was the program that was winning, and I heard they had the best coach to prepare everybody for the next level. So I wanted to come to Miami Central.
Miami Central, first, they had great coaches. They won a lot of state championships, and I seen guys go to the next level and develop, be good, and make it to the NFL. And once I seen that, I know I could be me.
Central plays one of the toughest schedules in the country. And in their district, 4 of the 5 teams have won state titles. The district itself has won every 6A state title since 2012.
So we know this is our motto: win Dade County, you win state. Cause we got the hardest district in the state. So we win in Dade, we know we got the state.
Central's only blemish on their schedule? A 5 overtime loss to undefeated and nationally ranked St. John's out of Washington, D.C. With the loss behind them, the Rockets are solely focused on winning a district title first. They'll get that chance at that title this week as they face undefeated rival Miami Carroll City.
Our team focus is dominate like how we did everybody else. Dominate. So we're not worried about how big the hype is, the noise. We're just going to know the noise and work. That's all.
We believe we're the best in Dade County. They believe they're the best in Dade County. We think that we play in all those big games before this to get ready for that. So we ready.
Tomorrow we wake up, game time. Everybody stand there. Hey, like I told y'all earlier. It's on us. It's on us. No matter what the other side give us, it's on us. Everybody stand there.
Let's go. Guys, don't take these guys lightly. Don't take them lightly.
District 16-6A is considered one of the best in all of high school football, and anything less than a state championship is considered a disappointment. But first, both teams aim to be kings of Dade County. I'm Marcus Benjamin, here for FootballHotbed.com here in Miami.
Thanks, Marcus. We can't wait until next week for this huge matchup, and Football Hotbed will be there for Game of the Week. Now, we got so much more in store for you on the Florida High School Football Report, driven by Honda. We're going to get to Game of the Week, Palmetto taking on South Dade. But next, we're going to go to Giselle Espinales with Eye on Tampa Bay when we return.
Welcome back to our FootballHotbed.com high school football report driven by Honda. We are at Tropical Park for Game of the Week, Palmetto versus South Dade. It's almost kickoff time with 2 teams that had big wins last week. South Dade entering this game undefeated and with 4 shutout wins this season. But before we get to that action, let's head up north with our Eye on Tampa Bay, driven by Honda. Week 9 action continues as IMG takes on Middleton. Delaware's #1 ranked team is no match for Florida's very own #1 IMG Academy. #7 running back Noah Kane gets in on a screen pass and burns right through the Cavaliers defense for an 83-yard touchdown. Kane takes the handoff here and breaks it outside, and down the field he goes for the score. He would rack up 112 rushing yards in the first quarter on just 5 carries. IMG would score 45 unanswered points en route to beating Middleton 52-7. There was no stopping them. Undefeated Bloomingdale plays host to Plant City in hopes of securing that district title, opening up the scoring with a long field goal going off the center bar and through, but Plant City would win the day, led by quarterback Braxton Plunk, who takes off on 3rd down, going 43 yards to set up the 4-yard run by #3 running back Zamir Knighton for his 2nd touchdown of the game. Plant City taking out the previously undefeated Bulls 24-10. And Plant versus Freedom, Tucker Gleason finds #19 wide receiver Britt Barksdale in the end zone for the first of his 3 touchdowns. Plant's defense recovers the ball after a bobbled snap recovered by Ty Love. Gleason goes back to the air, connecting with number 6 Leonard Parker for the 19-yard touchdown. Raiders defense coming up with another big play when DB Dylan Berry intercepts the pass and returns it to 28 yards for the touchdown. Gleason would get his third score with a pass to number 27 running back Walter Wilbon, who hurdles the last man for the 10-yard touchdown.
A look at Tampa Bay area scores. Armwood 56-0 winners over Brandon. Wayne Dennis 4 receptions for 72 yards and a touchdown for the Northwestern University commit. Clearwater Central Catholic gets a big upset win over Jesuit 14-6. And Venice 49-6 over Sarasota. Brandon Gregory continues his great season, 13 carries for 121 yards.
Whew, there's more where that came from, and grab the popcorn because we are just getting started. All around South Florida, and our Game of the Week highlights coming up on footballhotbed.com. High school football report driven by Honda.
Let's now take a look at the statewide rankings for Week 9.
It will be second down.
Welcome back. Week 9 action continues here at Tropical Park for our Game of the Week, Palmetto versus South Dade. Can these teams keep the momentum going? We're just gonna have to wait and see later on in the show. First up, let's roll the highlights from around Florida. Let's take it over to Spruce Creek as the Hawks host Mandarin as number 7 quarterback Nick Cristiano takes the direct snap in for 7. Then Cristiano connects with wide receiver Hayden Flood in the corner of the end zone to make it 14. Mandarin's number 20, though, responds. Running back Cameron Daniels takes the handoff and darts in from the goal line. Then number 18, Carson Beck, goes over the middle to find wide receiver Chris Mitchell, who secures another Mustang touchdown. Again, then the Hawks' Nick Cristiano takes it in himself on the ground, diving inside to score, but that was not enough as Mustangs defense holds on in overtime, handing Spruce Creek their third loss in a row. The final for this one, Mandarin 34, Spruce Creek 33. And we head over to Jacksonville as Rains welcomes Rickards in a commanding performance that might get them their 7th win in a row. The Rains defense posting a shutout here, forcing a fumble and returning it for the touchdown. Then on special teams, also putting in the work with the punt return, going for a touchdown. Rains also doing it on offense, though. Every aspect of the game was put on display here as they connect for a wide open touchdown. Rains moves 7-1 with the final 47-0 over Rickards.
Let's take a look at the scores around Florida. Santa Fe 2017 winners over Baldwin. Baldwin's first loss of the season. Santa Fe with a great win there. Trinity Christian continues to roll, 35-7 over Ponte Vedra. Gabi big winners over Pine Forest. 23 points scored in the third quarter.
And now let's check out the highlights with our Eye on Central Florida, brought to you by Orlando Health. DeLand versus Flagler Palm Coast. This is a dogfight between two 7-1 teams, and DeLand begins to strike first. Damaris Bellamy takes the screen pass from Jaden Nershi and outruns the FPC defense for the 36-yard touchdown. And we bring it to the second quarter where they had good field position, but Flagler Palm Coast Ja'Cory Benjamin intercepts Nershi and takes it to the house. Don't adjust your screens here, though. This one actually gets called back on a block in the back penalty. Would have been a great play. Rewind, but FEC is going to have to settle for just 3. And we fast forward to the fourth, where FPC puts together an impressive drive. But would it be enough? Not with D-Land's defense making sure they go nowhere. A lot of big stops. FPC falls short on a fourth down, and DeLand holds on to win 10-3 over Flagler Palm Coast. Taking it over to Cocoa versus Bartram Trail, this game was all about Willie Gaines and Harry Boker. Both would finish the game with 4 touchdowns each. Cocoa's quarterback DJ Arroyo connects with number 4 running back Willie Gaines for a 78-yard touchdown. In the second half, Arroyo again finds Gaines with the over-the-shoulder catch for the touchdown. Late in the fourth, though, Bartram Trail quarterback Harry Boker rushes for the 40-yard touchdown. The Bears go up 34-30 with 2:34 remaining in the game. And here, the last chance for Cocoa as number 34 freshman running back O.J. Ross takes the screen pass down the sideline and puts this one away for the Tigers. Cocoa wins 37-34. And Winter Park versus Boone. Winter Park moves to 8-1 after dominating Boone, scoring 24 points in the first half of the game, led by number 5 running back Peter Haynes-Patrick, who takes the handoff and goes 60 yards to score. Haynes-Patrick again gets the handoff and walks into the end zone, and the Wildcat defense all but closes out the game in the second half when the sack leads to a fumble picked up and returned by DB number 22, Brendan Lightsey, for the touchdown. Winter Park takes down Boone 39-3.
Let's take a look at the Central Florida scoreboard. Jones, 51-0 winners over Eustis. Avarius Sparrow, 144 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Wekiva, 41-0 winners over University. Improvement is 7-1 on this season. And Rockledge wins District 14 and 5A, 55-6 winners over Merritt Island.
Big stop, huge plays in week 9. Coming up, we will have our top plays of the week and which colleges need to turn on the tape. And of course, our game of the week highlights and more on your footballhotbed.com high school football report, driven by Honda. Welcome back to our footballhotbed.com Florida High School Football Report, driven by Honda. Our game of the week here at Tropical Park in Miami, and we are more than midway through the season in this football hotbed world. Palmetto versus South Dade. Both teams are evenly matched, and this one may come down to the final possession. And with that, let's take a look at the highlights. Our game of the week brings us to Tropical Park as South Dade looks to remain undefeated against Palmetto, 2 district rivals, and hold on to your seats because the action starts right away. South Dade got to work opening up the scoring with running back Roderick Grissom going 40 yards for the touchdown. A quick pass to Edward Moreno for the 2-point conversion is good, making it 8-0 South Dade. But Palmetto answers quickly, though. Senior kicker Tyler Larco completes from 24 yards out to put the Panthers on the board, and Larco again, this time putting Palmetto within 2 of the rivals with 4:41 left in the half. Palmetto quarterback Karik Rackley finds number 8 wide receiver Kendrick Poiter, who shakes the South Dade defense and goes in for the Panthers' first touchdown of the night, giving them the lead going into halftime.
In the district we play in, it's tough every time we come out here, man. South Dade's a hell of a team, and it's just it's a battle every time we lace it up on Friday night.
Well, first of all, we need to relax. We had a lot of penalties, which really shooting ourselves in the foot. We're not getting off the field on 3rd down defensively. Offensively, I like what we did before the half. I believe we found some things, so we're going to try to execute.
Back from halftime, and Tyler Larco extends the Panthers' lead with another field goal. Then a miscue on offense for the Bucks results in a safety and 2 more points for Palmetto. Things are heating up, as you can see. The score 17-8 Palmetto. Quarterback Karik Rackley takes it in himself from the goal line. The 1-yard rush touchdown, making it 24-8 Palmetto. This one may be slipping away, but the game isn't over. South Dade answers with Clemson commit Frank Latson climbing over his defender to bring in the touchdown and gaining momentum. 2-point conversion pass to Najee Baker brings the Bucks back to within 8.
Suffocate him. Don't let up.
South Dade quarterback Demetrius Burns connects with number 6 Trayvon Sanders over the middle to bring the Bucks within 2. The sidelines are going crazy, and this game is getting crazy. Then the Panthers respond. Rackley to Poiter again, who beats man coverage to put up his second touchdown of the game. The Buccaneers defense keeps them in the game when they tackle Larko, taking away the extra point. Then Burns finds a wide open Demetrius Randolph in the flat for the touchdown. Whoa, a gutsy move that paid off. Burns hits Najee Baker for the 2-point conversion, equaling the score at 30 apiece with no time left, sending us into overtime. Coming into these games, both these teams knew that it was going to be a hard-fought showdown, and after stopping the Bucks on their opening overtime possession, the Panthers turned to Tyler Larko one more time, who puts it through the uprights and hands their rivals their first loss of the season. Palmetto wins this one 33-30 over South Dade in overtime.
I love the way we finished. I told you that today in pregame meal. We gotta play 48 minutes. Well, hey, what? It was 48 plus. All right, have a great weekend. Be ready to rock Monday. Let's go.
Yeah, you know, I mean, projections or whatever. You know, we knew in this district that South Dade, South Ridge, and Homestead and Killian, and we're all, anybody can win, you know. So we don't, you know, I think that's for the fans. You know, the fans would have probably killed us if we came out here on a loss. But, you know, to be honest, you know, it's just week in and week out, you got to play in this district. You know, this is, to me, it's the second toughest district in Miami behind, you know, the one in the city.
Well, it's kind of like a penalty kick in soccer to win, let's say, the World Cup. You have it's a 50-50 chance. All odds are on you. The world is watching, and so it's just very good. And knowing how well I did last year and this year, it's pretty good of a chance.
You're MVP, you know, for footballhotbed.com. That's a big deal for us. What does that mean to you to be able to come out and get that win for your team? And knowing now you can celebrate with a cheeseburger or a milkshake, what are you going to do?
Probably go home and sleep because I'm tired because I have to get up tomorrow and start doing stuff for college. So I'm looking forward to my future and probably the kicking for football. And so hopefully I can take it somewhere.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thanks, Giselle. It's time now for Turn on the Tape. And Turn on the Tape this week features 2020 wide receiver Marcus Clark of Winter Park in Orlando, Florida. Check this young man out. He's got the moves and the speed. He runs all the routes, and he's a very effective pass catcher and run after the catch. This is a young man that coaches recruiting the state of Florida definitely need to turn on his tape. Only a junior, but he's led his team to a one-loss record up to this point. He's definitely someone to watch.
Okay, every week we wait for this moment. It's the most exciting moment of the show. Just like Carroll City's band is getting down behind me for homecoming, this group of young men got down all week long, the Week 9 top plays. Here it is from top to bottom, including the #1 player of the week, the jackpot player of the week. Let's go to the highlights.
Top plays, let's head out to Tampa Jesuit for number 5. Mac Jordan, nice catch here, just a tremendous effort there. Clearwater Central Catholic sophomore, the sensation, he get in on the next play. They get a nice 14-6 win over Jesuit and upset. Boone hosting Winter Park. Boone in the orange. A nice sack INT there for the Boone defense, but it would not be enough. They would lose big to Winter Park. IMG taking on Middleton. Whoop! That's Mr. David Baldwin, the quarterback, eyeing down the defender, getting into it for the score. Number 2, Daniel Richardson to Tyu Jones-Bell, and I now pronounce you very fast touchdown Chiefs. Number 1, Ketron Portier with the wonderful one-hand grab. He was ruled out of bounds, but we think he was in. Jackpot Play of the Week, brought to you by the Florida Lottery. Bright futures sending hundreds of thousands to college each year.
All right, so that's all the time we have for this week. Week 9 was amazing rivalry, and we can't wait to do it all again next week. In Week 10, it's going to be Miami Central, and these Miami Carroll City Chiefs is going down. It's a hotbed world, and we'll see you next week.